I was trying to, I've been talking about going to the dentist for years now.
Since I met you, it's been a big thing that you've been looking to do.
Yeah, I've been looking for a dentist. Today...
Yeah. So a late night and dentist.
Yeah.
That's my 5-year vision plan.
Yeah, I'd like to do the night show and find a dentist.
I'd like to do cordon. Well, that ship has sailed.
What if that was your goal, to do cordon? You should kill yourself. Oh, I'd really love to do James Corden, my favorite late night host.
Yeah, I'll have to turn down Jimmy Fallon. I actually really wanted the first one.
Just really not in my plans to do Jimmy Fallon. I'd really rather prefer to do Corden.
So, yeah, that's why I got into this business. To do Corden. And then get out.
Yeah. To do Corden and After Midnight. Those are my 2 goals. After that, I can retire.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to find a dentist. Today was the day I go, I need to find a dentist.
So what's going on? Is it not just a regular? Because your teeth look decent.
My teeth. The front of the teeth. The front of the teeth look decent.
Oh, but the back's a nightmare.
I have a permanent retainer.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's annoying. I would never, if they had told me this was gonna be like this forever, I never would have signed off. I would have said no, thank you.
I didn't even sign off at all. They just put it in.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was like, what is this? They're like, it's a permanent retainer, and I was like, what do you mean by permanent?
Yeah,
like forever. This thing's on my.
Yeah, you're 13 years old.
Yeah, my tongue rests on it.
You're gonna have this forever. So, there's really nothing you can do about it. We didn't ask your permission.
I don't think they even do them anymore.
I think they do.
Oh, okay.
But I have a permanent retainer, and every 5 years, I get a real tartar buildup.
Yeah.
And then I have to go back to the dentist.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to prevent it. You can't floss.
They have the annoying thing, but who
you can't?
does that?
But my teeth, you can't fucking put it. I can't get it in my teeth.
Yeah, they're too tight.
Yeah,
they're sealed shut like a painted window.
Yeah, like a painted window.
Yeah.
So today today's the day. I get on the computer. I actually have a dental insurance through my work.
Brag much?
Yeah, and they made me choose a dentist beforehand, to put on my card. Mm-hmm. And I never got. They just made me choose one, so I chose the one that was nearby.
Yeah.
And I called today, make an appointment, and they go, "Yeah, we don't accept your insurance." Their name is on my fucking insurance card. I go, all right, well, fuck you.
So how do you get it off the card? That seems like it's like a chicken and the egg, but reverse. Yeah. How do you get one without the other?
I don't know. It's impossible. It's impossible to find a dentist.
Oh, you got to go to Steinway Family.
I know, but they don't. I don't think they accept my insurance either. So
well,
I'm fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked. By the way, I got that root canal this year.
Yeah.
Nightmare. Had to go back like 5 times.
Yeah.
And it was every time they just drill. This guy just drilling into my fucking thing, and they fucked something up one time.
Yeah.
I had to. It was a long story, but anyway, after the whole process, I get this crown. I read an article. It says, dentists are probably going to move away from root canals. They go, it's not really, it hasn't been working.
Yeah. Well, apparently that guy didn't get the memo.
The crowns come out, and,
do you still have your wisdom teeth?
No, got those out when I was 19.
Yeah.
Got a nice dose of Oxycontin.
Yeah.
And watched all of Boardwalk Empire and developed a pill addiction for 3 days.
Wow. That's wild.
Well, not really. I mean, I wasn't,
No,
there was one day of withdrawal, but I was like, I could see how people really get hooked on this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
I still have mine because the dentist was like, you should get your wisdom.
The teeth or the Oxycontin? Which do you still have? Tell me now, Trent.
My wisdom teeth. I still have them out. I still have them.
Good. Because, yeah, we can take those out.
Yeah. We can sell them. And you can buy Oxycontin.
Yeah.
No, I still have them because the dentist was like, you should get these removed. And I convinced myself that it was a conspiracy to get more money out of me. I go, no, they don't bother me. So,
well, you know what? Have they come in yet? Are they coming in?
I don't think so.
Well, you know what? That's why your teeth are so tight.
Yeah.
They're pushing everything together.
Well, I don't know. In hindsight, maybe I should have got it removed, but we live and learn. So that's all you can do.
Yeah, I mean, keeping them.
No, but then I went to another dentist. I got a second opinion. I'll get a second opinion.
Did you tell that to the first dentist? Did you go, I'm actually going to get a second
I'm
opinion.
going to go to a guy now, and I'm going to get a second opinion.
So I might come back, but I might not.
It depends on what this guy tells me. So he goes...
I hear 9 out of 10 dentists recommend.
So he goes, yeah, if they're not bothering you, doesn't matter. I go, thank you.
That's all I wanted to hear. Yeah.
So anyway, that's my story.
Man's got to find a dentist, and he's got to get a cordon set. This is a man with 2 dreams.
Would you like to explain to our loyal listeners, friends, fans, and colleagues what the podcast is about?
Well, for those who are just joining us for the first time ever, this is the only podcast where 2 comedians read the Wall Street Journal because one of us gets it for free from work.
Exactly, my friend.
That's right. Now, Trent, tell us, what are some of the articles we're going to be hearing about?
Well, we've got a little visit from our favorite segment of ours, the Wall Street Whoopsies. A correction.
I can't wait to hear what they did this time. That went so
We'll
wrong.
also be talking about the fun new sport sweeping the nation, pickleball.
Oh,
And
wow.
some rich people in San Francisco who don't support it being played in their backyard.
Oh, that must be from the personal journal.
And
Okay. Well, we're also going to hear a little bit more about the door panel blowing off on that Boeing plane.
boy.
And they're trying to figure out where exactly the little bolt came from.
oh, really?
Well, they know where it came from.
The door.
With the bolt.
This is the story that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Joe, we'll also be covering a mastermind named Fat Leonard who nearly sunk the Navy.
What? Well, we can't miss that. That sounds riveting. Well, we're also going to hear, maybe before we get to Fat Leonard, I think you maybe said 2 at the beginning, dating apps. We're going to hear about people getting really upset about E&M on dating apps. If you don't know what that stands for.
Ethically non-monogamous.
That's right.
That plays into my final story.
Okay.
Polyamory. It's very popular now.
It's sweeping the
It's
nation.
sweeping the nation, much like pickleball.
All right.
That's
Well,
in the
I
personal.
actually I think I have one more in here. If we get to it, we are also going to hear about Meta under fire. Yeah.
My favorite company.
Meta is under fire again for making it all too easy for a predator to find a child.
Jesus Christ.
So if we don't get to that one, that's fine. But you can kind of
we
just
kind of want to
assume.
end on a positive note.
Well,
That is-
my notes were scattered this morning, so I don't even know.
that's all right. That's all right.
Well, Trent,
Wow.
you want to kick us off with the Wall Street Whoopsies?
Yes, this one of our favorite segments here. It doesn't always happen. Doesn't always pop up on the podcast.
Well, they don't always make mistakes,
don't
but when
always-
they
But
do,
when they do,
they own up to it.
they own up to it. This is from Wall Street Whoopsies.
This is from the
Corrections and amplifications section of the Wall Street Journal. It reads, guards executed thousands of prisoners at the death wall in Auschwitz during World War II, and many of them weren't Jews. A World Watch article on Tuesday about Elon Musk's visit to Auschwitz, the former Nazi death camp, mentioned only Jewish prisoners. So they want to make it clear that not only Jews were killed at Auschwitz.
Are bad?
we
How
made a
could we
mistake.
forget about the gypsies?
We made a
gypsies,
mistake,
the
and we'd like
gays.
to own up to it. So.
What a hilarious correction. Well,
In an article about Elon Musk.
they're
going
all
to
about
Auschwitz.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
This might be the first episode where we don't hear his name, but I'm still not positive that's going to happen.
Well, we already broke that rule.
that's
Just now.
true. Well, I guess, yeah, you're right. So never mind. That's great. I always love to hear the corrections from the Wall Street Journal. Always great to have another Wall Street whoopsies kicking us off here. Now, Trent, did you want to kick us off with one of your stories as well?
Sure, I'll do a story. Now, this, Joe, is from the Wall Street Journal.
Okay, got it. This is from the Wall Street Journal.
Headline: Pickleball players thwack back at Silicon Valley elites.
Wow.
San Francisco is closing some courts after complaint led by mansion owner. Quote,
complaint led by mansion owner.
yeah quote, hell no. Dateline, San Francisco.
Wait, hell no.
Yeah, that's the quote.
From the mansion owner?
It doesn't really say.
Somebody said hell no.
Yeah, somebody said hell no, and that enticed me to read this article.
and the city's taking action.
Dateline, San Francisco, Presidio Heights is a rarefied community where Silicon Valley's elite mingle with affluent families. A real estate description says, it is also ground zero of the latest pickleball battle in America. The sport sweeping the nation.
I guess this battle might be the haves versus the have-nots.
Legions of paddle wielders are feuding with the denizens of some of the priciest mansions in the country. The skirmish started last summer when Holly Peterson, who lives with her husband, venture capitalist and Hotwire.com co-founder Carl Peterson, Hotwire, Hotwire.com.
Wow. They must have a mansion.
They live in a 107-year-old mansion valued at $29 million. They helped launch a petition asking the city to suspend pickleball in nearby playground called Presidio Wall. The, quote, the endless racket threatens the fragile ecosystem and our community's prestige, the petition argued.
Fragile ecosystem?
Yeah, I don't know. Her roughly 12,000 square foot, 8-bedroom Tudor-style home commands views of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Commands views.
And of the free public pickleball courts.
You know what's crazy? You could have told me that the founder of Hotwire.com was living in a trailer right now or living in a mansion.
What is Hotwire.com? Because I remember the jingle, but I have no idea what it is.
I don't know, but was it like a booking? Maybe you could book a flight?
Maybe.
Hotwire.
Hotwire.com.
Yeah.
It was a catchy jingle, but it couldn't tell you a fucking single thing.
Well, now he's had a great life, but now he's in a living hell.
He's in a living hell. There's pickleball players in his backyard.
It's a goddamn racket. Yeah.
He can barely see the Golden Gate Bridge.
He's got 12,000 square feet. Not a single one of them will isolate him from the sound.
Peterson's mansion property also includes its own private pickleball court.
What a
fact derided by some pickleballers. Quote, it's unbelievable that someone has a pickleball court in their yard and wants to get a pickleball court shut down.
What an arrogant prick. Yeah, that's crazy. Does he play a lot or does he just have it there?
He probably just has it there for looks, you know.
Yeah, you love the look of a pickleball court.
It's one of the most beautiful creations in God's green earth.
Yeah,
the pickleball court.
A pickleball court. Yeah, it's a tennis court with new lines drawn all over it.
Right, yeah. Now, have you ever played pickleball?
I've never played pickleball, but I played tennis many times.
Tennis.
I played tennis in high school.
Yeah. Now, it's kind of the poor man's tennis, right? Pickleball?
Pickleball?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't need to belong to a country club to play pickleball. You can do it.
Not if the Petersons have anything to say about it.
Yeah, they'll put it right in their own fucking home.
Yeah. So, Presidio Wall's pickleball courts are often packed and on weekends draw upward of 200 pickleballers, some enduring long waits to play.
What? Get a life. It can't be that fun.
After a review that included an acoustics engineering study, the San Francisco Recreation and Parks Department in recent days proceeded with a plan to take 6 of the 12 pickleball courts there out of commission and turn them back into solely tennis courts.
We're taking them back. That is the most country club thing ever. This feels like it could be like a B comedy movie.
Yeah.
You know? Where it's like an evil country club like wants to take back the pickleball courts, turn them back into tennis courts.
Yeah.
And then a ragtag team of poor idiots have to save pickleball.
Yeah, there's a war.
There's
a
a
war
war.
between the pickleballers and the tennis players.
They're going to take away the pickleball court.
That's bullshit.
Unless we could raise $50,000.
It's a bunch of orphans. Pickleball proponents have come out swinging. In a demonstration on Friday, about 50 pickleballers stood defiantly on the courts and held their paddles high. Quote, "Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go," they chanted. By the way...
This is such a funny time to be out and protesting something that's not a war.
Yeah.
I'm heading down to the protest this morning.
Right.
Oh, you were like, why are you bringing your pickleball paddle? No, it's the pickleball protest.
Oh, you didn't hear?
Yeah.
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 They're kind of getting rid of 6 of the 12 courts. And
so I'm trying...
Unacceptable.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a stand. I'm going to take a stand because you know what? I'm tired of being quiet about this.
I'm surprised you hadn't heard. It's kind of an important issue.
It's very loud.
But, yeah, so... Some argue San Francisco has thornier issues than pickleball to tackle, including homelessness and drug crisis. On Thursday, dozens descended on City Hall, armed with balls, paddles, and signs reading "More pickleball, less fentanyl."
Oh my God!
More
pickleball, less fentanyl.
Chanting, I know it shouldn't annoy me, but it does. Any chant.
Yeah, it does
any
suck.
strike.
Any chant, any
protest.
strike.
If I see somebody protesting outside, I'm automatically not on their side.
Yeah. I don't care what it is, what side you're on. If you're outside with the signs and all the stuff, it's just a bit much.
Yeah. It's well, I work in an office building, and there's a bunch of different companies and stuff. And the other day, there was a big protest outside.
Right.
And they're like, "What do we want? Fair wage. What do we want?" It's like, shut up. I'm just trying to go to lunch, you know?
Yeah,
why do I have to deal with it? But I guess that's kind of the point. Anyway.
That is, the exact point.
Yeah. But anyway.
Just to rattle the establishment like you. Up in your lofty skyscraper.
Right, yeah.
Looking down on them at your big law firm.
We have to go get guys coffee.
Where you bring the lawyers coffee.
5 years ago, Hickey, a pickleball instructor, was among the first to play the game on Presidio Wall tennis courts. She and other pioneers would put up community pickleball nets and take them down each day. Use exploded, prompting the city to allow more convenient nets with wheels to be left on the courts, which made it easier for pickleballers to move in when tennis matches were over, she said. Presidio Wall proved so popular with pickleballers, say that 3 times. That's what it says in the article here.
Does it really?
Yeah.
How the fuck would they write that? Just keep telling them.
Yeah.
Say that one 3 times fast.
That San Francisco's park department restriped 2 more tennis courts in 2022 to create pickleball courts, and in May 2023 agreed to expand play hours. The city agency said then it would reevaluate usage and adjust the schedule as needed. Last August came Peterson's petition asking the city to pause pickleball at Presidio Wall.
Say that 6 times fast.
And do a formal environmental study. The petition was posted on change.org and then removed after media coverage, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. Another fine newspaper.
There's nothing wrong with that one.
Testifying that month at the meeting of the city's Recreation and Parks Department, Peterson said the loud whacking of pickleballs as early as 6:20 a.m. jeopardized property values, and said, quote,
jeopardized property. Not the property values.
Quote, "I personally have suffered irreversible damages. noting her own house had been on the market for 6 months.
Well, Presidio Hall is one of the most fragile ecosystems in the world. Trent. It's like the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah.
It's such a fragile ecosystem.
Right. Any slight disruption.
A slight disruption, a clacking of a ball, even hitting a golf ball too loud, could send the whole thing toppling down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would hate to see that.
We would hate to see that. It would be nice to see some of the same efforts that have gone towards the ocean cleanup.
Yeah.
Picking up the giant trash pile in the Pacific, for instance.
Right. Yeah, I say
protecting-
forget that. We need to focus on Presidio Hall.
Yeah, I say bring it home. Why are we in the ocean? Why are we out there when we could be at Presidio Hall cleaning up the bay? Auditorially, obviously, not.
I couldn't agree more, my friend.
Let's just clean up the noise, and then we'll clean up everything else.
On Friday, pickleballers obeyed a city order to remove rolling nets from 6 courts at Presidio, but they identified a loophole and staged a rebellion.
What?
As other nets were coming off, the advocates carried stationary pickleball nets that had been pre-assembled back onto the court. Quote, unless they send a ranger to arrest us, we're using these courts, said 62-year-old Susie Safety, her eyes flashing. Try to stop us.
Wow. It's amazing. I mean, because
There's a war. There's a war coming.
There's a war coming. Yeah.
And you better choose a fucking side.
Well, I'm with my friends at Hotwire. Take them all down. Yeah, it's crazy that the level of conviction these people have about, saving pickleball.
Yeah. And it's not even like they're banning pickleball. They're just getting rid of 6 courts.
Yeah, but they need a war, and there's no real wars really that you could latch onto.
There's nothing really worth fighting for right now.
Nothing really worth fighting for, getting fired up about. But when it's in your own backyard,
Right.
when it's in Mr. Hotwire's backyard or inside of his house. Well, Trent, let's go far, far away from the United States.
Let's.
To the source of a problem that happened just north of San Francisco, I believe, crossing right over Washington into Canada, where
Wow.
a Boeing flight
Sure.
had a bit of an issue a couple of weeks back where an evac door blew off.
Yes.
And out flew a teddy bear.
We covered it on
Somebody's back.
We covered it on a previous episode.
Well, that door panel, this is from the Wall Street Journal, by the way.
Sure.
Headline, door panel and Boeing blowout was manufactured in Malaysia.
I wouldn't trust the plane from Malaysia as far as I could throw it.
Well, this is Dateline Washington. A Boeing 737 MAX 9 door plug that blew out during a harrowing Alaskan Airlines flight earlier this month was manufactured in Malaysia, according to the nation's top air safety investigator, who offered new details from the probe into what led to the accident. When are they going to learn their lesson with Malaysia?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys lost the airplane forever.
They lost an entire plane.
Forever.
Yeah.
The only airplane to be lost forever after next to Amelia Earhart's.
Right.
And they go, we got another job for you guys. Don't worry, we got some new work coming in. We got some spark plugs.
Maybe you can focus exclusively on doors.
All right.
You can't be trusted with an entire plane.
Flying the planes was our mistake. We shouldn't have let you do that. You're not ready?
Yeah.
We'll start you off with doors, and we'll work our way back up. Well, this is a quote from...
Maybe they should start with the drink cart. Let them work their way up.
Yeah. Yeah, Malaysian guy operating the drink cart. I
Yeah.
could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
You know what I don't want? Operating the drink cart? A straight man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You ever have one?
I don't think so.
I had like a definitely a straight guy, and I go, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
This isn't for you."
You should be flying this fucking thing.
He's like, "You want snacks?" I was like, "This is fucking amateur."
Yeah.
Yeah. Go blow.
I went to high school with a guy who's a flight attendant. He's gay.
Of course.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to be. I didn't even know
I thought that was part of the job requirement.
it was mandated. The new FAA regulations coming down. There may be an update on that as well. So hopefully I'd like to see them crack down on that a little bit harder. You're either a beautiful girl or you're an old lady or you're a gay man.
Yeah, those are the only 3 options.
Unless we can whittle in some Malaysians in here. Quote, we have no indication right now of where in the process this occurred. This referring to the defect or whatever.
Yeah.
Homendy said after a closed-door briefing with the Senate Commerce Committee on Wednesday, quote, this could be anywhere along the line. We are not just pinpointing manufacturing. Well, it really seems like they are.
Yeah.
And like door manufactured in Malaysia, and they go.
They always do that.
Right. It's really just bad journalism, honestly. But the Alaska and United Airlines have said they found other MAX 9s in their fleets with loose hardware surrounding those jets' door plugs. So everybody took a look, and they're all loose. And
nobody can operate a drill anymore.
Homendy, who, by the way, is the chair of the National Transportation Safety Board, said Wednesday some bolts on the door plug are supposed to be loose and are secured by pins.
That's what they always say, too. They go, no, it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, why would you want it tight? Bolts, if there's one thing I've always known about bolts, no matter what you're using it for, in almost any situation that there's ever been a bolt, never is it supposed to be loose at all. I worked at Legoland for years, and bolts on all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Never, any scenario, you need a loose bolt. Yeah. Keep that loose.
You want that almost not even on.
Yeah, you want it loose, and then we'll put a safety pin in there to secure it.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, the NTSB's National Transportation Safety Boards.
Sure, we all knew that.
Metallurgical analysis will be looking for signs of fatigue, cracking, and corrosion, and other potential factors that led to the Alaska blowout, she said.
Wow. Metallurgical.
Dramaturgically. Metameturgically. They don't know, what caused the problem, but the doors are made in Malaysia. So,
wow.
Keep that in mind. Strike two, Malaysia.
Yeah, one more, you're out.
Yeah. First, we'll have to find the country, have to pinpoint where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't fathom doing that.
Couldn't wait.
It's definitely not on this map.
Nope. Thank God. I'm just kidding.
Well, this is kind of a long story, Joe, but it's a fascinating story.
Well, buckle up, Trent.
About the U.S. Navy.
Okay.
One of our favorite branches.
One of my favorite branches. Got a cousin in the Navy.
Really?
There's some dirty rumors about people in the Navy, but
we don't support that. We don't subscribe to that.
We don't support that. We don't subscribe to that. And we also don't like protests. So
this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
Headline: Mastermind Fat Leonard sinks Navy corruption trial.
Sinks Navy corruption trial?
Yes. Businessman bilked the U.S. out of millions, then disappeared. What is he, a Malaysian plane?
Fats.
He is from...
Fats Leonard sounds like a jazz man.
What? I forgot. I completely forgot. He is a Malaysian businessman.
Really?
Yes.
We have got to get these guys away from our planes, away from our boats, away... I'm sorry. And if this comes off as xenophobic, I apologize. But Malaysia cannot be trusted with any more planes, boats, trains, trucks.
Yeah. Navy Captain David Lausman, once the commanding officer of an aircraft carrier in the Pacific, stood front and center in a trial that capped one of the biggest military corruption cases in U.S. history.
Wow.
He and his alleged co-conspirators enjoyed 36 hours of straight drinking, prostitutes, and hotel rooms, a prosecutor told the jury.
That sounds like a weekend in Malaysia.
Debauchery was among the rewards Lausman and 4 senior officers allegedly got for helping Malaysian businessman Leonard Francis carry out a scheme that cost the U.S. tens of millions of dollars.
Wow.
Francis, who carried 350 pounds on a 6'2" frame, was known
as the kingpin?
It was known as Fat Leonard.
Fat Leonard. Wow. Fat Malaysian. You never see that.
No, you don't. He's tall too.
Tall, fat Malaysian. Huh.
He acknowledged paying bribes and overcharging the U.S. to service Navy ships at ports around the Pacific. He struck a deal with federal prosecutors to avoid evidence against the high-ranking Navy personnel who helped him.
Now, they helped him do what? What did you just say? They do what around the ports?
Provide... Well, he was paying bribe to get them to use his ports.
Oh, got it.
He's
So he
bribing
owned the
them.
ports and he wanted everybody to go there.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
A federal investigation had swept the ranks of dozens of Navy personnel deemed unfit to serve because of ties to Francis. The probe also sank the careers of officers tainted by unfounded allegations, including those who had been on track to command the 7th Fleet. The 2022 trial in San Diego marked its unraveling.
My God.
U.S. Assistant Attorney Mark Pletcher told juries that what set Lausman apart was, quote, the bedazzling array of bribes this guy received from Leonard Francis from 2007 to 2011. One of Lausman's lawyers, Robert Boyce, belittled the bribery allegations, which included free golf balls.
That's not a very good bribe. No. Golf balls for life.
A pack of 6 Titleist
A lifetime
to
supply.
use my port.
Now, these are Titleist. You're not going to find these anywhere.
Lausman, a 6'6" Michigander, known as Too Tall. All these guys have nicknames about them being giant.
They're all giant crooks.
Yeah. Was quiet, boring, and not much of a drinker, according to one of Francis's hired escorts.
So he had to give him golf balls.
That's a quote from one of the hired escorts that fat Leonard gave to him. He's a bit of a boring guy.
Yeah, can you imagine an escort? And then she's asked by the Wall Street Journal, tell me about him. Well, he's kind of a boring loser.
Yeah,
I couldn't really get it up.
Yeah.
And so this guy's reading this article. He's facing lifetime in prison, and he finds out he's boring. From a hooker.
He's facing life in prison, and then he's got to read that he's boring from a Filipino whore.
No, his wife is reading him this article out loud at breakfast. It was described as boring, tall, not much of a drinker.
Pretty accurate. Lausman had declined her advances, she told the defense team. So he turned down the hooker.
His wife will be glad to read that sentence. Maybe that's why she said he's boring.
She wanted to have some fun. The jury deliberated 9 days before convicting Lausman and 3 former colleagues of bribery and other crimes that carried a prison sentence as long as 20 years. Jurors split on a 5th defendant, a retired rear admiral.
Rear admiral sounds like a Navy position I've ever heard of.
The courtroom win was the culmination of a 10-year government investigation backed by financial records and millions of documents, including many provided by Francis, who had pleaded guilty to multiple felony crimes. Emails, texts, photos, and records revealed that Navy personnel took hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes and gifts, feasted on meals of Kobe beef,
oh, that bastard,
and Spanish suckling pigs.
What?
Yeah,
I'll have the Spanish suckling pig.
One Spanish suckling.
And you know what? Let's
pig,
do a Kobe
please.
beef for the table.
And bring me one of your finest Filipino whores.
And a box of golf balls while you're at it.
And reveled in boozy all-night parties with attractive escorts, all paid for by Francis. Sounds like a nice guy.
So you're not allowed to wine and dine and schmooze these guys, right? Because is this a bribe or just gifts? And saying, hey,
well, there's
my port. Here's some gifts.
There's a fine line between bribes and gifts. It's like when a college athlete, they give him a car.
What is a gift and what is a bribe?
Yeah.
Are escorts legal? Where can I find them? I have so many questions.
How much?
How much?
Yet after the guilty verdicts against Lausman and other senior officers, a capstone of the corruption investigation, prosecutors dodged TV news cameras and left the courthouse without comment. The chief prosecutor declined to speak about the win. Boyce's law partner and wife, Laura Schaefer, sat in the back of the courtroom for months during the trial of Lausman and the other officers. She couldn't shake the feeling prosecutors were hiding something.
What are they hiding?
Before the jury had reached a verdict, Boyce got a tip about a related case. Schaefer, who specializes in appeals, filed a court motion to learn more. Her pursuit led to revelations that turned one of the government's biggest military corruption trials into one of its most embarrassing.
What?
2 months after the trial, Francis, who was under house arrest, slipped out of his ankle bracelet,
Oh, my.
sneaked past guards,
Oh!
and fled the U.S. shortly before he was due to be sentenced.
How did a big fat guy like that slip out of his ankle bracelet?
Exactly.
Wow. You might...
A big, fat, 6'2", 350-pound Malaysian man.
bodysuit. I bet he's at 4'9". He weighs 100 pounds,
Yeah.
like all the Malaysians that I conjure in my imagination.
Yeah.
And he's in Fats Domino's
He was
bodysuit.
he was on stilts in a big fat suit.
Yeah, it might have been two guys in there.
I mean, it could have been two guys on top
Yeah,
of
one
each other.
operating the legs, one operating the arms.
Exactly. That's very good. I'll have to write into the FBI.
Yeah, we have the hotline somewhere.
Have
around
you
here.
considered that? It's two.
You're on the phone. I can wait. I
Yes.
can wait.
Yes, I'll hold.
Yeah, I'll hold. 1 hour wait. That's fine.
He surfaced in Venezuela,
They all go to Venezuela.
where he
Or
remains.
Argentina.
Yeah, where he remains beyond the reach of federal authorities.
Oh, so he's still there.
He's still there.
Well, he if he's watching right now, definitely grab an arepa while you're down there. I love an arepa.
Oh, his name's Fat Leonard. I'm sure he's had his fair share of arepas.
I'm sure he'll arepa us all.
Oh, a year after Francis's escape, the convictions of Lausman and the 3 senior Navy officers crumbled following disclosures of government missteps.
What did they do? What went wrong? Well, they obviously let him out and he's escaped. But
Well, he escaped. He got out of his fat suit, but but it is so. Let me see. I'll have to find what actually, because it's kind of complicated. But it has been said that defendants in this case and the court has to agree that the conduct by the government in this case can only be described as outrageous. U.S. District Judge Janice Sammartino said at a September 6 hearing. Prosecutors agreed to accept misdemeanor pleas and $100 fines from Lausman and 3 other officers. So they were facing 20 years in prison. They ended up having to pay $100 fine.
pay $100 fine?
Yeah.
All the bribery, the escorts after the golf balls? Only $100?
Yeah.
Wow.
They made out like bandits. The
Yeah.
golf balls and whores.
If somebody handed me 6 boxes of golf balls and said, "Hey, worst case scenario, $100 fine," I'd say, "Sign me up."
Yeah.
And then here's an escort, and I'd say, "No, thank you."
Okay, you're a bit of a boring guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of boring, so no fun for me.
By 2013, the discovery of Francis's scheme raised alarms at the Pentagon over national security holes in the 7th Fleet, the Navy's largest. The fleet is responsible for defending the U.S. in the Pacific against threats including China's newly aggressive maritime force in the South China Sea.
Oh, they love building ships in that little South China Sea down there.
It is around 40,000 sailors and Marines, along with 50 to 70 ships that are generally deployed for 7 months at a time. The ships make roughly half dozen port calls during their tours, rest stops, where port agents provide what are known as husbanding services, sewage removal, food deliveries, maintenance, and securing the ship in port. Starting in the 1990s, Leonard Francis, Fat Leonard, 59 years old, built a reputation as the most reliable port agent throughout the Asia-Pacific region.
Wow.
He had turned a modest family business into a shipping supply company that at its peak was estimated to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Francis was known as a gregarious and charming man. They all are.
They're always these con men.
Yeah. Whose knack for recognizing and exploiting people's desires helped him attract allies.
So you're telling me that Fats uses people's desires to manipulate them into giving him what he wants.
Exactly. He was good at recognizing that some men enjoy golf balls and prostitutes.
especially when stuck at sea for long periods of time.
7 months without seeing your family. Some people love to play golf off the ship.
Yeah, hit a couple balls
and drain their balls.
Fats knew that,
and they really love it when they don't have to pay for it.
Oh yeah.
So he's kind of a genius.
Yeah, it's a genius model.
Yeah,
and he only got $100 fine.
Senior Navy officers praised Francis's port services company.
I gotta say, this guy's badass. He escaped his ankle bracelet. He fled to Venezuela. He's surfboarding in Venezuela. Yeah, he looks cool as shit.
He's got glasses. He's giant.
He looks so scary. It's crazy.
He really does look scary. He kept the ships running and the crews happy with welcome parties and rides to town. That's not the only thing they were getting rides to. Lausman, who grew... we don't have to talk about that. Behind the scenes, Francis used cash, gifts, and prostitutes over a decade to ingratiate himself with Navy personnel who provided him with classified ship schedules. Knowing where ships were heading gave him an advantage over rivals.
Wow.
The jilted wife of a Navy man...
Now that's...
triggered his downfall.
Oh!
In 2012, the woman walked into the Japan office of the Navy Criminal Investigation Service, NCIS, one of our favorite shows.
This is why you don't tell your wife anything. We've gone over this.
Yeah.
That'll be your demise.
Yeah, you take everything to the fucking grave.
No therapist. No
don't
wife.
Talk to anybody.
Don't talk to anybody. Talk to God in your head as you're laying awake until you fucking go into the cold ground.
Yeah, she walked to the NCIS, one of my favorite programs, television programs, and reported that Francis's company had bought her husband a plane ticket.
Oh, that's not as bad as a hooker. What's she so upset about?
Yeah, I'm sure she probably did hear about the hookers.
Yeah, okay. You think she heard?
But she had evidence of the plane ticket.
Well, you know what I've always heard, Trent, and it applies especially in the Navy: loose lips sink ships. You gotta take a page out of my book.
I'll have to write that down.
Zip it up.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't know that.
You think that'd be the motto of the Navy?
They would know that. Loose lips sink ships. Francis offered...
Say that 3 times fast.
Francis offered investigators the names of his corrupt helpers as well as financial documents, including receipts from restaurants where he hosted meals for Navy personnel and stores where he bought them expensive gifts. The government was promised all it would need to clean house. At 7:30 a.m. on March 14, 2017, federal marshals rapped on Lausman's door in the villages.
Lausman!
A Florida retirement community. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just doing some Foley sound in the background.
Lausman.
I think I might doing that. I'm going to start doing that.
That's
more.
pretty good.
That's pretty,
I like that.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right, so here, you could do this.
Yeah,
knock on the door, and then, Lausman, you're under arrest.
Lausman, come out!
They handcuffed Lausman and drove him still in his shorts to a court in Ocala, Florida. Bail was set at $100,000.
It's nothing for Lausman.
The 2017 indictment alleged that Francis lavished the 9 officers with gratuities, including foie gras terrine and $600 bottles of Hennessy Private Reserve cognac. The men, Asians, you may not know this, Joe. Asian people love cognac.
Really?
Yes.
I work in beverage alcohol. I didn't know that at all.
Well, if you ever speak to an Asian on the phone, you're trying to sell somebody.
They've got some other liquors out there, too, that we don't even know about. Seriously, China's got this crazy whiskey. It's a whole new world out there. A whole different world.
The men, in turn, allegedly persuaded top Navy leaders to schedule ships to stop at ports served by Francis's company. Lausman accepted free golf bags and umbrellas, as well as money for food and drinks during a golf outing. So here's what happens. Here's how
it all comes to a head.
In March 2022, after 4 of the officers in the case pleaded guilty to conspiring with Francis, Lausman and the others went to trial. Francis was expected to be the government's star witness, but that role fell to this guy, De La Pena, who was the lead investigator.
De La Pena.
One of the other defense lawyers asked De La Pena how investigators authenticated financial documents from Francis's company. a crucial element in the prosecution case. Quote, who gathered the packet of materials, the lawyer asked. De La Pena said his understanding was that an investigator working for the defense team retrieved hard drives and paper copies of financial records from Singapore, where Francis's company was based. Quote, I have absolutely no indication that anything was cherry-picked, De La Pena testified. Before the trial, a journalist aired interviews with Francis, who said he had his information technology employees, quote, clean up company servers before he began cooperating with prosecutors. Oh. De La Pena said Esteban Hernandez, who worked for Francis's defense team, had collected hard drives in Singapore, where the company is based. In April this year, Assistant U.S. Attorney Peter Coe was assigned to field defense motions, which included a filing that requested a new trial. Schaefer asked Coe in June to turn over communications between the government and Hernandez. Among them was a text from Hernandez to De La Pena days before the trial began. De La Pena had asked where and when Hernandez had obtained the hard drives. Quote, 11 February 2015 is the date I met with Richard in Malaysia, Hernandez replied. Richard was Richard Nguyen, Francis's IT manager. That meant Nguyen might have deleted or altered records before handing them over.
Wow. Foul play.
Schaefer said she suspected that prosecutors had hidden Nguyen's role from defense lawyers, a breach that could derail the government's case.
Big no-no.
Big no-no. Huge no-no.
You work in law, so you would know.
Hey, I know that. and I could have told them that.
If they had you as an assistant.
Yeah. Hernandez told Coe in August that he had traveled to Singapore but didn't collect the documents and hard drives from Francis's company headquarters there. Nguyen instead gave Hernandez the items from the garage of a house in Malaysia that Francis was renting for his family. At a September 6th court hearing, Coe told the judge, we recognize there were serious issues that affect our ability to go forward in this case.
Oh, my God.
Instead of prison, the four men walked free. Quote, China couldn't have done as much damage to the Navy as the prosecutors did by some of these false allegations, Lausman said.
That's amazing. They really got off scot-free.
Yeah.
This is a wild ride. You get hookers, golf balls. I mean, having a great time.
Yeah.
Out there in the Indian Ocean,
right?
And then you just get to walk scot free.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Fats is in Venezuela.
You gotta throw down at one Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, I got one in my drawer.
See you later.
Do you take cash or would you like a traveler's check? $100 fine is
it's nuts.
Why find them at all? I mean, if you think it would either be 10 grand or we can't find them.
Right.
What is the fine? Is it a parking violation? We got him on parking. We got something.
Yeah.
We got.
It's insane. So they all walked free, and Fat Leonard's living it up in Venezuela.
Well, that's a great story.
It's kind of like a country that's known for being great.
Yeah, it seems like a fun time. You know, it is kind of fun. It's just like it's fun to hear a story where the bad guys get away with it, especially when they're cool bad guys like Fats. You know, and what he's doing is just what he wants people to use his ports and bribery.
Yeah.
It's not all that bad. That's like Wolf of Wall Street stuff. It's not like he's a terrible murderer.
Sure, yeah, he's not really hurting anybody except people's marriages.
Of course, the prostitutes as well. It's kind of propping up that whole business a little bit more. But hey, the world's oldest profession, huh? Not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Last time I checked. Well, speaking of the world's oldest profession.
Oh.
Speaking of, really dating at large.
Yeah.
On dating apps, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
Sure.
On dating apps, some look for the one. Others look for another one.
Yeah.
Open relationship enthusiasts crash mainstream romance apps, creating confusion.
Oh, wow.
And people are really upset. They don't know what's going on. Well, Trent, many people using dating apps are on them looking for the one. Increasingly, they're running into profiles of people looking for a second, third, or fourth.
Wow.
The monogamists... imagine that. That'd be a shitty band name. The monogamists say mainstream dating apps like Hinge and Bumble are being inundated with users who are in consensual open relationships.
Yeah.
And they'd like them to go find their own app. Go find your own app.
Go find their own app.
Yeah, personally, I don't give a shit. But I
Right.
guess some of these fucking basic people are
Yeah,
tired of
it's
seeing
prudes, I call them.
prudes. Yeah, prudes. Others
Not
say,
like us.
yeah. Yeah, not like us at all. Others say the apps are for people of all relationship styles, and as long as they're upfront about it, what's the problem?
Sure.
The profile state, quote, ENM.
Yep.
The letters stand for ethical non-monogamy, and more often than not, aren't spelled out. Quote, I had to Google that, says Natalie Broussard, who lives in Southeast Texas. The whole putting ethical in front of non-monogamy is got to be one of the greatest scams, up there with Fats, what Fats did in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why do you say that?
Because I personally don't give a shit about
Yeah.
anybody being open or whatever like that. But it is putting the word ethical in front of non-monogamy. It's just a complete way out of any responsibility. Oh no, I don't just sleep around with everybody and have a girlfriend.
Yeah, she knows about it.
I'm actually sort of an ethics, sort of big in ethics.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sort of an ethical genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're right. Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
in between sleeping with all my girlfriends and my wife and going on one night stands, sometimes I'll read Socrates. Other times I'll read Plato.
I like to brush up on my ethics.
Yeah, my ethics. I really love the Stoics, such as Seneca, and some of those in second century Rome. Well, more niche apps exist, Trent, besides the Hinge and the Bumble and this basic stuff. We're going to find these fucking basic monogamists.
Right. Yeah.
You know, of course, I'm not some big open guy. Quite frankly, not because it doesn't sound exciting. I just don't have the operational management skills to handle open relationships.
It's too much.
It's
too much work.
I also don't have the emotional bandwidth to not get jealous and try to murder somebody.
Right. Yeah, and I don't have what the kids call the Riz.
I don't have the Riz either. Definitely don't have
So
the
my
Riz.
girlfriend would just be out getting fucked and sucked every
Yeah,
night.
I'd
I'd
be-
be like, I'm watching Jeopardy by myself.
I'd be doing a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle.
Fucking yelling at the TV.
I'd say, "Hey, baby, have you seen the corner piece? I can't find the corner," and she's getting railed in the other room. I'm E&M. This is what ethical non-monogamy looks like for me.
Well, this is what I wanted.
This is what I signed up for. Yeah.
Having one person I love just wasn't enough, so now she's getting railed in our bedroom where we sleep every night.
And I'm swiping on field.
And I'm swiping on a field and getting no matches. So.
Not getting any matches. But she's the love of my life, and she needs to screw quite a few people.
I thought we were going to watch True Detective tonight, but she got horny. She wasn't interested in having sex with me, so I'll be on the couch.
I thought we were going to be watching True Detective.
I'll be having a Hungry Man dinner while she's swallowing cum. So.
I thought we were going to be watching True Detective Night Country. Guess she's kind of having a big night of her own. You just hear her back there. Harder! Yes!
You just have to keep getting the remote and turning the volume up. Okay, well. Sure sounds fun in there, but this is what I wanted, and I have to live with it.
You know what? While she's focusing on the non-monogamy part, I'll focus on the ethical part.
I'll focus on solving this murder mystery.
Let me just crack open Plato, Sophist by Plato. Well, wow. Speaking of Field, I mentioned Field.
Field. I've heard of Field.
Yeah.
Everyone in Brooklyn's on Field.
Everyone in Brooklyn's on Field. Field markets itself as for those interested in polyamory, consensual non-monogamy, homo and hetero flexibility.
Sure.
Well, Trent, you've always been hetero flexible.
Yeah, I've said that for years. Everybody knows that about me. I'm heteroflexible. Oh, you're not telling any tales out of school with that one. What? You're not telling any tales out of school with that one. I'm heteroflexible. I never got. It's never polyamory. All this stuff. It's like you get in a relationship.
Uh-huh.
The worst thing about you're in a relationship, the worst part is getting into a relationship, the dating part.
Yeah.
Then you're in a relationship. You're not. I'd love to keep doing the worst part, going to dinner, trying to make conversation with some dumb broad.
Yeah. We don't know anything about who the other one is.
Yeah.
I'd love to find out how many siblings a stranger has
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
and ask them if they work from home or are going to the office
And how did they like that?
while I pay for all the fucking cocktails.
It's a nightmare.
All right, so heteroflexibility, pansexuality, asexuality, aromanticism, voyeurism, among other things.
Yeah, I'm all those.
Yeah.
I'm heterosexual and pansexual.
Definitely a voyeurist.
Yeah.
But increasingly, the most popular apps are trying to appeal to more diverse groups of users. In late 2022, Hinge rolled out the ability for users to designate their, quote, relationship type, the bottom of their profile, and whether or not they're monogamous or not, which the company says was a response to the needs of Gen Z. So there you go. Hinge and another popular app, Bumble, allow users to filter for factors such as distance and age, but there isn't a setting to exclude or search for non-monogamous profiles. This
Bullshit.
This is my favorite thing that the Wall Street Journal does.
Yeah.
Every time we've read any article relating to any of these apps, they always just find a guy.
Yeah, a random guy.
A random guy who's on the apps.
Yeah.
Here's a loser on an app.
Yeah.
Mitch Holland, 37 of Nashville, Tennessee. Why were we interviewing him? No one knows.
Yeah.
He's on Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder.
Sure,
looking
the
for-
trifecta.
Yeah.
He's going for the turkey.
He's got the bundle. Looking for just one partner. He says he used to occasionally see couples seeking a third, but that in the past 2 years, E&M profiles have been sprouting up everywhere. Quote, it's common enough to where I think there should be a filter, he says.
Yeah.
Holland says Holland says he is a progressive alternative rock fan, dating in a sea of women.
Christ. This guy sucks.
Hi, my name is Mitch Holland. I'm a progressive alternative rock fan.
I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I like prog rock.
I like prog rock, and I am on Hinge, Bumble, Tinder. I like Rush. Well, anyway, Nashville is a problem because he's dating in a sea of women who wear cowboy hats and listen to Jason Aldean. And when he doesn't, when he does see a woman on the apps who seems left of center, as he puts it, she's often E&M. But it's a distinction. The distinction is usually tacked onto the bottom of the profile. Quote, put it at the top so at least I won't get too excited, he says.
Oh my God, this is the saddest man in America.
I know.
Saddest man in America.
They really have a way of finding just these
sad sacks. Well, I mean, if you had any self-awareness at all, you wouldn't agree to be in this article. So they have to find
it's crazy.
the dumbest people in the world. Now, I actually, when I was in Indiana, I went on a date with a girl who was married. She was
really
consensually non-monogamous, is what she said.
So not ethical.
Not ethical. It was entirely unethical, but it was consensual.
Yeah, it's kind of,
and it was quite frankly, it was one of the worst dates I've ever been on.
I can see that. I feel like most of the people who are actually practice this.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're like, I'm not really looking for a relationship. I kind of have like someone I mainly see, but I'm kind of dating around.
Yeah.
I'm non-committal.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
But this whole like owning it thing and being like, this is my main. This is my, telling people about it on a date. They're always the weirdest people.
They are. So she came to one of my shows. And then one of my stand-up comedy shows.
You've got to check out Trent's stand-up comedy.
You have to come to one of my stand-up comedy shows. But she came to one of my shows, and then it's Indiana, so there's not like really any late-night options. So we went to Steak and Shake afterwards.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and it's just annoying. I'm already annoyed.
Yeah.
And then this kid came in wearing a Monster Jam t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know Monster Jam, Monster Truck Show.
Oh, of course. I would love to go sometime.
Yeah, we should go.
Oh, I think it's coming up.
It's on my birthday, actually. February 3rd.
February 3rd. I think there's one on January 28th, too.
Oh.
That's
well,
tomorrow.
anyway, he had clearly just come from the Monster Jam show.
Right.
He's late at night. There's no late night options. His dad walks in. He's wearing a Monster Jam shirt. She goes, it's a little late for a kid to be out, right? And I go, well, he just came from Monster Jam. And she goes, what's Monster Jam? And I go, it's monster trucks, you know? And she goes, you Indiana boys. And I go, you're from Ohio.
I'm here. You're there. It's the same shithole.
Yeah. So then I was driving her back to her car. We parked in the parking lot.
Did you take her to make out point?
That's what she wanted to. And she goes, are you going to make out with me?
Wow.
And I go, I guess.
Sounds romantic, yeah.
So then we made out for a bit. And then I went home and never spoke to her again.
Wow.
But it was a mistake.
But she was non-monogamous.
She was consensually non-monogamous.
She's not alone, Trent. Theo Thomas, a 36-year-old in the Detroit area, just a little bit north of Ohio there. In the Detroit area has been practicing ethical non-monogamy for 3 years. He says he is married and has a girlfriend and also uses Bumble and Hinge to find potential partners for casual sex. The majority of the monogamous...
Casual sex.
Casual, yeah. There's a
novel concept.
There's an idea. Yeah. I wonder what the ethics behind that are. The majority of monogamous women he matches with are ones who haven't read his profile carefully enough, and they tend to not want anything to do with him. Quote, a lot of women don't like to share, he says. This guy's the biggest fucking tool in the world. Alex Padilla, 33, and Thomas's girlfriend, not his wife, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's got a wife and a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Says she frequently encounters monogamous men on dating apps who are aware she's in a relationship and are still interested in meeting up. Once she has explained her lifestyle, their response is often, that's hot.
Yeah, it's different for guys.
It's the
and
opposite.
Girls. Men and women are different. I don't know if anybody's ever made that connection.
But yeah. Well, I actually am working on a stand-up piece about that. one of my new pieces. But this past fall, Trent, Thomas had a new experience.
Oh,
he fell in love with a
Get
woman.
out of town.
With a woman. Yeah, bet you didn't plan for that. Where in your ethics are you going to find
he's
that?
He's married, right? This guy's married.
He's got a girlfriend. He's got his life.
And he finally fell in love.
Yeah, you never know when you're gonna fall. Yeah, it's best to have a lot of eggs in one basket. Yeah. Well, he fell in love with a woman he met on Facebook dating.
Jesus Christ.
Who was also E&M.
Wow.
He says that led to issues in his existing relationships.
No shit.
A third person that you're in love with. His new woman ended up breaking up with him, and he says he was heartbroken. Quote, I actually could see myself being monogamous with just her. He says, a feeling that caught him by surprise. Quote, I didn't think that I would want that kind of lifestyle.
Oh my God.
But here he is.
This guy's poor wife.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, imagine consoling your husband because he got broken up with by his second girlfriend and you're his wife.
Yeah, I would have left you for her.
Yeah, I would have given all of you up. Yeah. He's talking to the whole harem.
That's crazy.
Ladies, I want to tell you all something. I'm in love.
Wow. Well, it's kind of I think this is kind of the same article.
Well,
that I have.
Is there any fun points you want to fly through it?
No, we can bump it.
All right. Well, we'll definitely bump the sex abuse going on at Meta. That's not going to get covered this week. Well, that was fun. That was a fun one.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, I just can't. I just don't get it. It sounds like a complete headache.
I would rather do what Fats does and try to manage that than try to manage 2 or 3 women.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
One is almost too much.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't do one.
I mean, I would go for...
I just got out and she was completely reasonable and I still had to leave. I said, this is too much.
Yeah, one girl is too much. Give me 3, 4 guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of 3, 4 guys, but what do I know? I haven't really read into a ton of ethics, so I don't really know.
Really. Yeah, I would need to brush up on my ethics.
I would need to brush up on my ethics
before we weigh in, really.
Before I added another woman. Exactly.
Hate to speak out of turn when we don't know our ethics.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that has been another episode of Echo Chamber Podcast with Joe and Trent. Thank you. for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. Tell us about.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts
and shoot us a story.
Yeah, send us a story. If we made a mistake, send us a correction. We'll
send us a correction. What do we call that when we have our own corrections? That's
echo chamber errors, I believe.
Echo chamber errors. Wall Street. Well, not to be mistaken with Wall Street whoopsies.
Yeah.
But no, it's we've got some. Send us stories if you see some stories from the Wall Street Journal. They have to originate from the Wall Street Journal. Trent and I might start to explore and do some interesting things with the podcast, with the stories.
Yes,
we may. Stay tuned. Exciting things in the pipeline.
Big things on the horizon.
Big things. We're gonna experiment with some episodes. Might get a little different, but we might do some deep dives. We'll see.
We shall see, and it'll all be based on the listener reaction. So, if you like it or you don't like it, please let us know. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I'm Trent, signing off.
And I'm Joe, signing out.
Bye-bye.